It took me a while to figure out how to make my home feel just right without spending a ton of money on fancy upgrades. And I was so happy to prove to myself that even the smallest changes could make a big difference in how a space felt. So let me tell you about this mural I painted. I had been planning this for months, on and off, but I did it, and maybe I'll give you some inspiration if you dream of adding a little magic to your place. Now, you need to know I'm a big Pinterest addict. I have a whole bunch of interior designs pins saved up, and I would often catch myself marveling at the beautiful interiors recommended by this app, wishing I could recreate something similar. And one day it hit me, why was I doing this to myself? This was all achievable. It was time to boost my confidence and start making changes right there. A few years back, I was all about those simple, smart, mostly grey and white looks, but things changed. Over time, my taste changed, or maybe it was always like this and I just never felt motivated to revamp our previous apartments. Or simply back then, I didn't see any point in investing in a space that wasn't supposed to be mine anyway. We moved around a lot, bouncing from one rented place to another. None of them really felt like home until we encountered some family difficulties and relocated to a house owned by a relative of ours. This house had a lot of character from the previous owner, and I always liked it, but now that it was ours, I wanted to make it feel more like us. So this was my plan for my bedroom. I didn't like the pinkish-red colors, especially the red wall. It just tired me out whenever I glanced at it. I had to remove all the family photos because they weren't my memories. I wanted to start fresh and thought about a mural with nature in the background. I wanted it to be relatively simple, nothing too crazy in terms of colors. So I chose only a few colors and then mixed them together to get different shades. My biggest fear was that I wasn't skilled in landscape painting. I even tried to prepare a project on my iPad, but it didn't work. I had zero patience for it, and I was so afraid of ending up with a background that looked like it was done by an 8-year-old. I didn't want it to look tacky. On the other hand, making preparatory sketches seemed daunting for something that I had no idea how it would turn out. Let's say I sketched a simple idea in my head and rolled with it. I knew I wanted trees on both sides, especially because on the left side, where the wardrobe ended, there is an awkward empty space, so I thought it would be cool if there was a branch or a tree coming from that side. My husband encouraged me, saying that if things went wrong, I could always paint over the wall with one solid color, so it wouldn't be a big deal. But one thing I really regretted was not calling someone more experienced to prepare and prime the wall properly. I used white artist gesso over that red paint and it started flaking a lot. If you saw big white spots, that was the flaking problem I faced. And let me tell you, I was really stressed about it. I was painting and panicking at the same time. I slept in that room while my husband moved to another one. It was a big mess because I decided to repaint some furniture too, which I'll include in this video at the end. I had all these paint cans open, so I wanted to use them up. Oh, and these are water-based paints, so it was safe for me to sleep in that room. I kept going back and forth between painting the mural and the furniture, hoping there wouldn't be any big flaking problems on the wall the next morning. The lines of tape you've seen me using were to mark different levels, like where the plants end and where the sky begins. I'm not sure if they were necessary, but they helped me stay organized, and by dividing that space in sections, I didn't feel too overwhelmed. The whole job had a lot of boring moments. I remember painting the grass at the bottom and worrying if I'd be able to finish it. But whenever I had these thoughts, I reminded myself that I wasn't being forced to finish this project in just 2 days. I could take all the time I needed, but then again, that room was important, and seeing it in such a mess started to stress me out. Plus, the fact that I'd never done anything like this before was making me even more anxious. When I painted the tree on the left, I felt like things were going the right way. Because I didn't use too many colors, it didn't look bad. It looked pretty much how I wanted it to, and from that point on, things started to come together. There were times when I realized I could have done some parts better, especially when I figured out how to paint leaves to make them look just right, neither too complicated nor too simple. Overall, I only used 6 paint colors: a light blue, a dark blue I had from another painting job, a greenish sage color, yellow, a soft beige, and a bit of white. On the other side of the room, I set up a makeup area. I used my old IKEA desk from my last place, repainted it, and upgraded a standard IKEA set of drawers with some knobs I found on Etsy. Now that everything's done, I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I do have a feeling that someday I might redo it all over again, but for now I'm happy with it. The room looks so different and I didn't have to spend a lot of money on it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and thanks for sticking around. I'm sorry I can't keep my promise to post on YouTube regularly. It's just that YouTube takes a lot of time and it's not rewarding as it used to be, so I'll be posting whenever I really feel like it, like today. But I miss my channel too, so don't give up on me just yet. Thanks for watching, consider subscribing anyway, and see you in my next video.